afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Radish Break Room, brought to you by Radish Digital with a J, because spelling it the normal way was just too easy. It's just the crew today, me, Tex Hooper, and Slappy. No guests, no agenda, just three besties hanging out, stirring the pot, and talking all things boba and wonders. We're keeping it casual, a little chaotic, and probably mildly inappropriate by the end. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get comfy. This is Radish Break Room, and we're here to gossip, laugh, and see where the conversation goes. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Like literally, Tex, could you have swallowed your coffee any louder?
Oh, sorry.
While she was doing the intro. Oh, hold on. Wait, let's do.
Go. There, was that better?
No, it really isn't better.
I got to work on the act of silent swallowing.
How most human beings can do. You don't have to work on it. Just be a normal human being, Tex.
Well, I swallowed normal.
I'm Tex Hooper.
Well, it's not like I was chugging it.
That clip will live on.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, boy. What do you have, mesophomia? Isn't that what
I do.
You do?
I do. I can't. Don't stop.
So I got to tell you, I have.
Where did Slappy go?
I have to do a mailroom, by the way. I want to show you, like.
Yeah, I don't want to.
This is all the mail I have. And then check this out, is that I'm pretty sure this is the last box for Boba. And
maybe, could be. Who knows?
And then look at this.
You never know.
Could be some dish towels his wife ordered off of Amazon. Who knows?
I've got here 4, and look at it. They're just stuffed with packs.
Just packs.
I have 4 more over there. And then I have, look at this. These are all filled with packs too. So
what?
Are you getting like the second grade show and tell vibe?
What is happening here?
No,
why do you have thousands of packs that you have not ripped?
Because I'm behind and I'm just getting people excited. I'm gonna do some mail day videos, and when I do all that stuff, I'll make sure to include it. But that's how behind I am. Everybody's excited about Griffey. I'm excited about Update to rip off my packs.
I'm glad we're not telling gift giving stories. And you not opening your mail is nothing new. you went months without opening something that was sent to you.
I think it was weeks.
Specifically as a gift.
I think it was weeks. Weeks.
Oh, no. Easy 3 months. Easy.
All right. We'll see.
If not longer.
All right. Well, speaking of gifts, the gifts
here, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Allow me to mute myself.
Yes, mute Tex.
No, it's better than when he pounds that keyboard. Yeah, that was good, Tex. When he pounds the keyboard, we could hear him like right. Wait, hold on. Let me get my mic down in there. Yeah, hold on.
Now you did it. We're back.
Could you hear the typing?
Yeah, you can't hear me typing when I type.
It could. All right. During our Boba Breakers backstage, you could. All right. So speaking of gifts, though, guys, there were a lot of gifts being handed out. It's a little bit early for Christmas, but Bo Jackson, Battle Arena, and Wonders the First giving out gifts. Of course, some people might see it as cool for some people getting gifts. And let's start with Wonders of the First. And we'll talk about Wonders. And so let's see. There was an announcement that went out in the community from Wonders of the First. You can find it at their official website. You can check this video description to get all the details and look at the announcement yourself. But this was the note from the owner of Wonders of the First, the founder, Jeff French. And he said, collector box presale allocations are finished. Details below. I won't pretend that demand isn't a good thing. It is, and critically important, and it's a great thing, actually. But the flip side of telling folks they can't get product is never fun. To that end, everyone who placed a pre-order request should soon receive an email telling you how many boxes you were allocated. The orders will be batched and processed, and that might take a little time. As promised, the link has the details of how we manage this difficult process. Not everyone will agree with every decision in this framework. Opinions may be strong. That's understatement of the day. But we hope that understanding it is helpful for the community. As noted in the blog post, Dragon Codes drop Friday. You will have the weekend to order it or lose it forever. So just remember, that's the important thing. We're recording this live on Wednesday, November 12th, and they will be going out on November 14th, and you have the weekend. A big thanks to the Wonders team. I know we mentioned in a previous show that 24 hours was a little bit tight because for people with kids and jobs and everything going on, sometimes you don't check your email. It's 24 hours a little tight. The flip side is people will be scamming and selling fake codes. So if you're out there, do not buy a fake. Don't buy codes. Just wait for it to show up and just order it that way. But Jen, general thoughts about that announcement before we go and look at the criteria?
No, I think it's very interesting and exciting. I sat this one out. But I'm interested to hear, and I have been reading some other people's comments and what they thought and what they had ordered versus what they got and how it's all going to flush out. And so I'm here for the ride this time, just to hear what everyone else's thoughts and what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Texas flip-flopped about 17 times.
I've stayed true to my original statement.
No.
And if
producer, yes, I have. When did this become Defending Your Life, starring Tex Hooper?
If this producer had more time, I thought about it, like Jen, before today's show, going back every clip of Tex Hooper talking about, like, well, you have to pick a lane. I'm picking BoBA. So
I picked a lane.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm still, I never said I was 1,000% out on Wonders. I'm not collecting, but I'm still buying
pretty much did, right?
As an investment and to flip. And I'm not going to let if I have an opportunity to buy some stuff, I'm going to, as long as I can afford it, I'm going to try and make it work. And then I can deal with it after the fact. And all my Griffey is set. I have all my Griffey coming. And I took advantage of some Wonder stuff.
Do we want to show the viewers your desk?
Slappy has a video. He's welcome to put it into the he's welcome to show it if he wants.
I don't know how you can add more.
I'm in trouble. I have to get this all organized and sorted by Griffey.
This is exactly our point.
I have a problem, Jen. Okay, fine. I admit it. I have a problem.
Swallow of coffee.
I have a problem.
Yeah, and swallowing is one of them.
Oh my God!
No, it was very aggressive.
Yeah, it's an aggressive swallow test.
Yes.
All right, let's get to the early bird allocation, which there's a lot of, you talk about a layer of depth to allocation. And I think one of the biggest takeaways is that if you're somebody new who's coming to the community, you got to look at, you got to look at, here, we'll go ahead and take a look at this. You got to look at the time and thoughtfulness that went into the allocation, right? This wasn't just, they said, slash everything by 20. They used formula. Well, and let's actually get to that. Let's see. Early bird allocations are finished. Orders will be processed soon. We're excited to share that allocation emails are going out shortly. Please take a moment to read the details below so that you know what to expect over the next couple of days. TLDA, a TLDR. In case you don't know, that comes from the NFT days, or maybe it came from teens and then it infiltrated NFT days, but too long didn't read. You'll receive an email soon with your allocation details. Subject line, Wonders Call of the Stones allocation. We'll start processing orders within a few hours, beginning with Thursday's orders. Expect to see credit card charges as we process. If you place multiple orders, some may show as canceled. See below about the allocation framework process. You may want to notify your credit card company the charges from us are coming. So when they see a $20,000 charge, they don't cancel it. Please allow a couple of days for all orders to be processed. Your allocation email today confirms how much product you received. We truly appreciate as we work through all the orders. And Jen and Tex, I'm going to read through all this, but if you have a comment, just stop me and we'll address it as you go by. And then afterwards, we can just talk about everything. The team is processing as quickly as possible and we'll keep everything moving smoothly. If your bank declined your order, we will send you a code next week to place the order again from scratch. These codes will be good for 72 hours. If this happens and you don't reorder in time, your allocation will be lost. Again, that's on you and your bank. There's nothing they can do. They can't hold it up for all these individual cases. Keep reading if you want to understand how we navigated this allocation process, which we do. That's what the viewers, because again, There is a community of active Wonders of the First people, and they don't see all necessarily, they don't go to the Wonders website. So that's why we're sharing it here on YouTube. All right, your final Wonders box allocation. Acknowledgement. Reasonable people could easily disagree on the finer points of how we awarded points and navigated the allocation overall, but we hope you will at least feel more informed with how the process was handled after reading this post. As a business, we love to see demand. Demand exceeding supply is a good problem to have, but it's still a problem because some folks might miss out. However, everyone who made a pre-order request received at least one box. For folks that placed multiple orders, you only got this one box credit on a single order, and whether or not your additional orders were filled was based on the remaining allocation process. So again, if you're just new to the community, you put in 2 separate orders, your second one's going to get canceled because you don't have any history with the community. The points-based allocation framework overview. We had to develop a methodology to do this allocation fairly that could be applied across all orders at scale. To accomplish this, we created a point system based on various criteria we will explain below, allocated based on each person's pro rata share of the total points awarded. The process itself was fairly straightforward and mathematical once the points awarded framework was complete. Okay, how points were awarded? Points were awarded based on the following criteria. 1 point per $250 spent in the existing set Kickstarter, awarded as 0.1 point per 25. 3 points if you attended the first shattering. 3 points if you completed the Discord to email matching survey and you have commented in any channels this year. Card Geek Hall of Fame members. The club, which anyone can join and made up the very first Wonders community, were awarded 521 points per Legend, Hero, and All-Star Geek held respectively. We awarded points based on our proprietary CRM scoring system. This is the only aspect we aren't willing to share full transparency on, but its overall effect on the total points came out to just under 3 per person on average. So there is a little bit of special sauce in the mix there. Allocation wave 1. All points were total and the available remaining inventory was allocated to each person based on their pro rata share of the points. This resulted in a max allocation being calculated for each person. If your max allocation met or exceeded your total pre-order request, you received your full ask. This also waterfalls across all of your orders, filling them from the largest to smallest if your MA was high enough. I know there's somebody in the community who keeps talking about percentage cut off and people should have asked for more. That's a huge misconception because people aren't taking the time to read this. Is that they did not look at the total demand and then do a percentage cut. They did this point system to determine what volume you were eligible. So the cut was not based on any percentage with you. It was based on what your point total dictated your volume would be. And it brought it down to that volume if you exceeded it in your request. Those are my words. Let's see. The completed wave 1, which allocated approximately 83% of the available boxes. Allocation wave 2. For the next wave, everyone with a fully filled request was removed and the process was run again for the remaining boxes and any unfulfilled requests. That's awesome. Your MA was increased by your prorated share of the remaining boxes. This fully filled some additional requests and helped increase allocation for the rest. In total, Wave 2 got us up to about 97% of the available inventory now allocated. It's amazing. And I did not go for my full allocation, so I'm glad to hear it went on to other people, especially newer people. Allocation wave 3. For any orders still left unfilled, we ranked all the orders and went down the list, giving them each one additional box until 100% of the available boxes were allocated. Wave 3 completed the allocation process. What happens next? Orders will begin processing. Dragon box codes, they go out Friday. As you know, each case in the final order gets you a code, and every box below that, it's a 1 in 6 shot at a code. The codes are transferable, but if you buy a code from someone, you do so at your own risk. So that's, remember, it's like they're not responsible. Closing thoughts, and this is the final couple sentences. Overall, those who participated in the Kickstarter and were here from the very beginning received a larger share of the allocation, but we did work to reward those who have come along later and engaged, taking things into account like Discord participation, Star City Games event signups, survey completions, etc. Reminder that this isn't all collector products spoken for, but it is the majority of what will be available come release. We do have some left for anticipated local game store orders and would like to confirm that we will be offering a full 30-pack play booster for Call of the Stones, and it will feature its own box topper with a little something special for those buyers and a similar batch of exclusive alt art commons sprinkled into packs like the Dream Caps and Mice from Existence play boosters. And that's it. All right. So let's see. Let's get you guys back on stage, and I'll take that share off. But yeah, funny.
What day is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'm like floored that number one, they thought that much about the community and the whole process, and with everything else that they have going on at this point, and everything else they're trying to deliver to everyone, and everyone that's yelling at them for all these other things outside of the thing, that they actually spent that much time trying to devise probably the most fair way to divvy these allocate these boxes, and reward people for being here from the beginning, reward people for, get the new people in, it blows my mind that so much thought went into this. So the fact that people are pissed, I'm like, I get it. You can be angry. You wanted more, you didn't get it, but come on.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's called empathy, and that's good. That's good emotion to display, Jen. We do have empathy for those people feeling that frustration and anger. But Tex, you jokingly yawned, but Jen's making a great point.
I was more yawning at you and just reading the entire thing.
But the point is, to read through that whole thing is there are people who are never going to make it to the Wonders page. There are people who are going to be driving their car home and they turn on YouTube. They don't watch it, but they listen. I know there are people who listen to the show driving. And it's important for them to hear it, because isn't that a problem they have, Tex? Is that they went into such depth for the formula to figure out this allocation. But we couldn't bullet point. Like, clearly the team was trying to communicate that in the community yesterday. And it's lost because you literally have to read a 5-minute read description on it. It reminds me of going back to college, and we're looking at formularies for chemical compounds and explaining the breakdown. Like, this is not simple, and it's not easily marketable. But Jen's right, isn't she? I mean, like, they went to extreme measures, but they can't market it.
Well, I mean, it shows how much they care about the community, and that they were willing to do all of this, to make it as transparent as possible and to reward the people in the community, as much as possible, while still, holding back enough for the retailers and holding back enough for, down the road future contests and, prizes for tournaments and different things. But, I mean, this is all of this happened basically because of the community, which is phenomenal on them. It shows that they really value us, and, we matter to them, and they understand that, and they know they wouldn't be where they are now if it wasn't for this community. And for people that, bitch and complain, I mean, I don't think anybody, if you expected to get 100% of what you tried to buy for your allocation, I think you're foolish. I don't think anybody should have expected to get 100%. I mean, I didn't expect to get what I put in, and I didn't. I got less than what I tried to buy. Well, and I'm fine with that, though. I'm perfectly fine with it.
And again, Tex, just to reiterate this, because there's that misconception that's in the Discord. People said I should have put in for twice what I really wanted, because then I would have cut down to what I want. That would not have happened.
No, it doesn't matter.
On the total volume. It was not a percentage cut. So we need to dispel that notion right now. That's not the right.
Yeah. And I mean, did some people have an advantage in the community over other people? Well, yeah, maybe they did, maybe because they've been in longer, or they've, participated more or whatever. But, such is life. I mean, that's what happens, pretty much in every aspect of life. The more you show up, the more you benefit.
I know. It reminds me
and if you're just kind of in and out, and, if you came to the party after the fact, that's tough. People, not everybody can be in from the very beginning, but I think they took appropriate measures to, reward those people as much as possible, as well as people like, myself and you and Yo-Yo and Jen and B-Jamps and, whoever else.
I was trying to get the more like NBC thing from the 90s.
Oh, the little star.
But Jen, it's interesting when Tex is talking about who made it possible. is that it was interesting because you heard Frenchie talking about, and we're going to have to get into geeks on another show. It is a very hard thing to explain. It has to be structured. It can't be free flowing in this, but we'll go ahead and in this description, we'll put links to the 2 places you can find geeks if there are any for sale. But Jen, is that Frenchie made a distinction where he talked about there's 2 groups that are critical to the success of Wonders of the First, and those are the geeks and the Kickstarter backers. And I didn't hear anybody push back on that and say, well, my group's more important. But how do you view it, Jen, in terms of those 2 groups? Would you say that they're kind of equal cohorts in helping to launch Wonders?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That was the whole, right? I mean, obviously the geeks are, what started it all. They're like, the kind of base of the community.
alpha and the
Yeah.
omega of
and
Wonder.
then, for Wonder specifically, then that Kickstarter group was, the other big, uproar and everything that brought Wonders to where it is now, where they're able to sign these, actors and famous people or whatever, and develop these sets and hire new designers and everything, and put out these products. So I think I agree that those are the top 2 groups.
Well, and you have to remember too that, I mean, we're in our little ecosystem here, and we love this product, and we think of it as our own, especially people that have been in from the very, very beginning, way back in the NFT, geek days and everything. And, this is very close to our hearts and stuff, but we have to remember that, they're trying to grow this product. This isn't just a product about us. We're the catalyst that kind of got everything rolling. But the point now is to bring in other people. So the more of this stuff they hold back and they give to us, the less they have to grow this game and expand it into the greater world.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the goal, is we want to get as many people.
The funny thing is that if you remember, like back in the HTH, way back in the day when we were all trading with each other and selling, and everyone always complained, we have to go, we have to get new blood. We have to get new blood. If this is going to grow, we have to get new blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, now they're actually getting new blood.
And nobody's happy.
And no one's happy about it.
Right. And what people are failing to see is that the more people that come into this game and the bigger this game gets, the more it benefits everyone.
Yeah.
So I think everything they're doing is, has been pretty much, pitch perfect to this point. I mean, obviously there's been a few bumps along the way. They can't please everybody. They're never going to be able to please everybody. But I think a lot of people too also come into this, thinking they're owed more than they necessarily are. And in fact, anybody that thinks they're owed anything by this company is, that's ridiculous on its face.
Hey,
but
empathy. But go ahead.
But I mean, we all got into this.
Empathetic with someone that thinks they're owed something.
We all know what the deal is. We got into this. I mean, it's a company that's here to make money. It's a company that's here to expand their game.
I know,
but a company that's meant to grow globally.
I heard people yesterday saying they're dissatisfied with their allocation. I'm not hearing repeated claims of owed. I'm owed this. So that's why I'm just saying be careful. It's like you're assigning motives and
I'm not saying that. I'm saying subconsciously they feel that they're owed this.
So the conversation you guys are having actually dovetails perfectly, and it was going to be a good segue, but you guys are both making great points, so I don't want to bring it in. So Raven,
that's why we're the hosts.
Ravenera Pepper is a great community member and Wonder's very active. He had a couple comments I just want to go through and then we'll discuss. He said, they should have allowed boxes to be sold based on if you open them. If you still have products sealed from previous sets, you are first cut. He also said, I think that's wrong. What keeps the game alive is players. And he said, collectors hoarding cards become valueless if players don't drive demand. So I do want to say a couple of the one point that he said when he said that where he talked about the ripping. He said if you have, they should have sold boxes to be sold based if you open them. Now, one thing that's interesting is that when it comes to Bo Jackson Battle Arena, the team did something interesting, which said that if you want to receive your cards today, then we're going to cut the seal on the box, which makes it impossible to sell authentically that it's a sealed box. Excuse me, if you're, and I think Pepper, you're being a little bit too harsh. Like there's flippers and then there's collectors. And there's nothing wrong with collectors who are going to hold. And
Well, also there's no way to track who holds sealed product.
well,
I mean, once the product is out there,
well,
it's like,
to Pepper's point, you could have done a Bo Jackson Battle Arena that says if you're going to receive the product, we're going to cut the seal and then we ship it to you.
And that's what they're doing now.
And if you want for Bo Jackson, not Wonders,
Yeah,
that's
not
why we're
for
explaining
Well,
Wonders.
true.
And so what they said is the second part is if you want to keep it sealed, we keep it here for 1 year and then we will give it to you. So if you wait a year, so that kind of rules out the flippers. And if you want to get any time before a year, they'll gladly take their box cutter, rip it open, send it to you. And so you can get, it's your product, you can get it before then. So that,
And I think we should clarify what they're cutting the plastic in an X. They're not actually opening the box. You're still getting a closed box. It's just the plastic has been cut, so the plastic is open.
right.
But the box you're getting is still sealed. It's still closed. It's a closed box. So it's not like they're opening the box and just giving you a bunch of loose packs.
Right. So yeah, because then it'd be a Star City Games episode all over again, where people order 100 packs and they don't get a single Bo Jackson auto, and Tex Hooper orders 20 and he gets 26 autos. I don't know how he gets 26 autos and 20 packs, but anyway. So I mean, what do you guys? We've never talked about that on the show, but you know, Peppers brings up this point, and it's worth discussing. Is that where the Wonders team should go to and say we're going to give you this allocation, but we're cutting the seal on these? Should they do that with the Wonders product? They can't do it now.
No problem with that.
They may do it but you also have to remember that Bo Jackson Battle Arena, what is this, the fourth?
Well,
release?
yeah, I mean, if you don't count the special boxes, I mean, this is like the 8th.
Yeah.
But,
see, time is.
Yeah, we've got Alpha Update, Blast, Sandstorm, Dodgers, Phillies, Thunder, and then we also have the Dodgers again. So that's did I miss any? That's 8 Bo Jackson drops.
there's 2 kinds of baseball boxes. There's 2 kinds of Philly boxes. So I mean, if you count each of those separately,
you're right, because that's technically. Well, I mean, technically, you could say hobby versus jumbo versus booster. There's different card hits and those. Like you can't get.
Yeah, but it's for the release. At the end of the day, this is the second.
Yeah.
The second series.
Wonders.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like BoBA is a little bit ahead, so they have a little more momentum, a little more.
Well, and BoBA's grown as far as gameplay goes. BoBA's at this point, at least, BoBA's grown a little bit bigger than Wonders has at this point.
Right.
It has a little more exposure.
My point being that possibly maybe the 3rd release of Wonders or the 4th release of that type of thing might end up happening.
I mean, what are your Jen and Slippy? What are your thoughts on having if you want your box, it comes with the plastic ripped already? I have no issue with it. If I want to keep my boxes sealed, I'll just leave them in my marketplace account for a year.
Yep.
And then I can get them back. I mean, if I was to bring them and keep them, they'd sit on my desk for a year. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
And it would be the same with Wonders. I would have no problem if they, I got Call of the Stones boxes that I was intending on ripping that already had the plastic cut. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Let's see. I think Sonny mentioned Eagles too, which I think we mentioned, right? We said the Eagles. We said the because
Eagles had a kanji and a regular,
and the Thunder. So that's a comment. And also Matthew out there saying, "Can't believe I got a kanji box. Can't wait to see the new artwork they produced. This limited set is going to be nuts." Speaking of all the sets we went through for BoBA, I will say selfishly, I don't like them cutting it because I would prefer to have that option. Is that if you do
have the option.
No. Hear me out. Is that I don't buy to flip, but for one of the things that happened is like I had 2 bathrooms I had to redo. And so I had to sell a chunk of my Wonders existence that I was keeping as a collector. If money wasn't an issue, I wouldn't have sold them. I like having it. So I would rather have it sealed so I can sell it sealed and I can get that value for it to help me out.
But you can't, have they said that you can't sell
Yeah, you
on
could
the
you could
marketplace?
trade. Right? Why couldn't you?
No. What I'm saying is, if we go ahead, trade out that, you mean the vault?
Yeah, it's in your marketplace
It's in your-
account. Why
yeah,
couldn't you
why
just sell it
I don't
that way?
believe those. I don't believe those are transferable. I don't think those are transferable.
Well, if those aren't transferable, then that should be. I think that should be changed.
Yeah, well,
to
no,
make
you want
those
to know
transferable.
what? While we're on the air, I'll go ahead and I'll go into my BlockPacks account and I'll check and see if they are transferable. We'll solve that.
Yeah, I personally think they should be transferable. Now, granted,
Yeah,
that's not gonna eliminate the time frame that you know, like if you sell it, that person isn't going to be able to redeem it until
right.
the 18 month or whatever is up. But
yeah, the clock keeps counting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say that there's no quick transfer on the vaulted. So I am sorry, folks. You cannot. So.
Well, but that's something that could always be
changed.
But
so the one thing I will say is, as much as I want that, like I want the freedom to make my own decisions, but I will say I understand the fairness of it. Like going to that point, not the fairness. Fairness is, can we just outlaw the rule of fairness? I'm tired of people using the word fairness because it's what they're trying to pigeonhole you. And if you disagree with them, you're being unfair. Is that I understand the logic for doing this, because Frenchie is desperately trying to battle the flippers and the people who are really trying to take advantage of the community. I think what's hard, like when I see the comments from Peppers, is he's not acknowledging there's a group of us collectors. We're not looking to take advantage of the community. There are those of us who believe in it. And so we want to keep it long-term as collectors. But that's the other issue is I will say for Peppers is that as a player in the game, I mean, I tried telling on Creators the First where we do the show. Like I used to say when we started doing weekly Creators the First, of course, my panelists are all mainly players and I'm a collector and they're becoming collectors and I'm becoming a player. But I explained to them, I'm like, you have to understand Frenchie's mindset. He is a collector, 1000%. He is not a player. He respects Brian Tinsman. Think about this. This man, the collector, was brilliant enough to go out and get Brian Tinsman to be the architect of Wonders of the First. So Frenchie respects playability. But he is a he's a collector, which is why he's doing these on-card autos. So the one thing I will say for Peppers is like, you've been very active in the community. And I hope you stay. But I just to warn you is like, if you think collectability will not be level with playability or slightly higher, then this probably is not going to be the project for you, because Frenchie 100% is not done innovating and disrupting Wonders of the First with collector-based implications. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh, 100%. And he's also, this isn't a product that, I mean, at least at this point, I mean, in, for the relative future, he's not looking to scale this to, 100,000 cases, or, 500,000 cases of this stuff, like Pokemon and Magic and stuff where they just, print endless supplies of this stuff and it gets shipped out, all over the world. I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, this is still a boutique product. It's growing.
It's a boutique product, and
right.
as of right now, you need both,
right,
to survive.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't
exactly.
Cut either the collectors or the players out on either side.
I mean, I think if this game wasn't as collectible as it's been designed to be, I don't think it would have gotten this far.
No.
I mean, especially, what's really propelled at least BoBA to this point has been breaking, with Hobby Club and, some of the other breakers. And that, if this product wasn't collectible, if this was just a game, I don't think it would be anywhere near as popular and growing as fast as it has been. Because it's getting the attention of the hardcore game player that loves the games, and it's getting the collector that wants to come in and, pick up these autographs and, build a big deck with high-powered cards and, all the stuff that makes their deck valuable is the collectible aspect of it. Along with building a great deck to play with.
I could not disagree with your point, Mortex, about collectors. Collectors are driving it. is that I look at you two, and I remember once the Shattering, we were all there. We had a great time. We had a couple
Mhm.
drinks. The night went late. It was fun. We were in a banquet
We
hall with lots of
we
wonders.
we all made love, sweet love to each other.
I was not part of that part of the night. So you, Mitch, yeah, I don't know what you and Mythic Mitch did, but my point is, after the
Mitch
Shattering,
knows.
it was fascinating to me to see the collectors like yourself say, I'm picking a lane. Like and there was no disparagement. You said you liked it, but you were set. There was definitely a drop off on collectors. There's a reason why Dragon Boxes, which were selling at the Shattering for $500-$600, immediately shot up to around $1,200, back down to around $900. Why? Because the collectors left, and the players are not going to spend $1,200 for a Dragon Box. They love them. They won't spend $1,200. And that's where we were in a trough. And those existence Dragon Boxes have never recovered because the collector base hasn't come back. Here is what happened, and why I disagree with you, is that and it's God bless Alpha Trilogy, rest in peace, is I love talking to Alpha Trilogy about Shockham Comics, and he talked about the players that he would meet because, of course, Shockham Comics was going to all the cons and like spreading the gospel of Emma Shockbite. And he said, when you talk to them, every single one of them is a collector. They just won't admit it. And they say collector is a bad word. And what we're finding when you hear all these people, I love Creators of the First, going back to the first show we did to right now, they're all collectors. And it's like not even subtle ones. Like and what I notice is they're becoming greater collectors, right? Is that they just want to like be a hero gaming. Ben, is that he had so much sealed product, and it was really funny. Like he's almost like an alcoholic with empty like brandy bottles all around him. Like he literally was ripping through product to get ready for the Dragon Cup. And it's like he had enough cards for that, but it's like he wanted that, and he also wanted the cards, right? He wanted the formless foils. He wanted to hit those guaranteed hits. And so he always was a collector, but he saw himself more as an investor. And now he's looking at it, he really wants those great cards. And then you have also, I don't want to add it, like one of the people on the show is they'd never done a pre-sale for a TCG before, and they did their first pre-sale. This is a person who obviously can get product once it comes out for the players. But why did they want this set? Because it's collectible. So my whole argument, my whole argument, Tex, is that I'm Tex Hooper. My whole argument is
Ted Hooper.
it's the players becoming collectors. That's what's driving.
Right.
Not
it
the
is,
collectors.
yes. But
Yeah.
see, but I disagree with you, Slappy. I'm with Tex on this. In the very beginning, when Wonders came out, even with the whole Kickstarter and everything, it was the collectors. It was our base that fueled, I think, a majority of the growth of that product. And then through Kickstarter, and they had their, the little demo team and a couple of players, and they started, going out there to some of the events and getting some, players hooked and everything like that. And then I think there was a shift where, right, obviously it's a game. It's meant to be played.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to grab the attention of the players and grow that base along with it. So I think that's kind of the switch that happened, or the graph, the pie chart. You can see the lines, but initially I feel, and I have no knowledge or data to speak of, but my thought is that the collectors, our original base, is more of what drove that first set than players. And now it's switching.
Yeah, we have to get more players into the ecosystem to make the collectability sustainable. So now it's like we can't really compare BoBA and Wonders anymore because of the national and because of the spotlight that was on BoBA, and because there's been, several sets of BoBA. We've had BoBA releases consistently. We haven't had Wonders releases because they're different products, they're on different timelines. There's different plans for each of these silos. That, BoBA has been able to jump way ahead of where Wonders is as far as its collectability and its gameplay. It's in a lot more tournaments now. It's, was featured at the National, like I said. So it's where like we can use BoBA to track where Wonders is going, I think. So like with this new release of Call of the Stones, and there's going to be a big emphasis now on Wonders up until probably the National, where it'll, then move back to BoBA. But for the next, few months, the focus is going to be on Wonders and this new release and these autographs. And I think Wonders will then begin to gain a lot more traction in the greater marketplace, and the more players will come in, and, hopefully there'll be more product available in local card shops this time around. I think that's, obviously that's what they need to grow this. As far as the allocations to us go, that's fine. But the reason allocations got cut to some people and stuff is because they need to get this stuff into game players' hands,
right,
not just us collectors. And, our little world here is a pretty...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, just finish. It's fine.
I was going to say, they're not to get it. Again, the players have a different skew. They're going to be getting boxes they can buy that aren't loaded with hits. So
Right.
You're right. Why it had to be allocated, and this is important. There's a little discussion earlier about this, is because there are serialized cards that have to go into each of these collector boosters. And for instance, there were 481 total unique cards. Even though we say it's a 401 card set, when you start adding in all the secret mythics, blah, 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 then you get to 481 cards. So Brian Tinsman, in the extended version of Creators of the First that we filmed last night, we recorded it. We didn't do it live, the second part. He said that it will be a larger set, slightly larger than that. So you're looking at...
I'm sorry. He said Call of the Stones will be slightly larger than...
Yes.
Okay.
So, and again, like for those who missed it, there will be, on a Creators of the First, let's see, is that I'm assuming that it's that you could see the cards that they spoil, is that in Call of the Stones that there's going to be it's out of 402. So it's, what I imagine is the Existence was the first set, so it ends in 401. Call of Stones the second set, 402. So every set they're going to add another number, so when you're playing with a card, you'll know what set that it did come with, that it did come from. But so what limited these collector edition booster boxes, and this is important to note, is that say it's 481 cards like Existence. Mythics have a certain amount of serialized, through 10 serialized, versus common, uncommon, they have higher ratios of serialized. But you only have so many serialized cards. And if you distribute them across the collector booster boxes at the rate they've said, that one every 3 packs, I believe is what they... Well, no, that's formless foil, excuse me. But the rate, I don't have it right in front of me, and I shouldn't misspeak without just double checking my notes, but it's a set rate. And so they can't put out 10,000 boxes, because there'd be boxes that don't get any serialized cards, and that's not what they can do. So that's what was the limiting factor. And so there are some collector booster boxes that are going to go to LGS's, local game stores, but no, the players, they're going to get a different skew. They're going to get play boxes, so they can play. They can get those mythics, right? And we should say that Pepper's, the last comment, I think we all agree with it, is that if it was just collector, the product dies 100%.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yep.
So
That's why it's so important for Call of the Stones to, bring in more players. Because this thing dies without players.
Yeah.
I mean, collectors are nice. Collectors, help launch the product essentially, but it's going to be players that sustain the product. And that goes for BoBA too. I mean, I see BoBA as a little more collectible, obviously, because it's built around, athletes and autographs and stuff. But, the gameplay for Wonders is the main thing.
Yeah. On BoBA, it's 95% collectors, 5% play right now. Don't you think? I
don't know. I think the play has grown. I don't think it's that low.
I'd say I don't think, because I think you have a BoBA, I think, has a really good mix of that middle.
Yeah, I think the playing base of BoBA has really grown this last year.
Okay, let me ask you two. Jen, how many cards have you bought specifically because that's the play you needed to build your deck? And how many cards did you buy specifically because that's what you need, that Apex card. How many have you bought specifically for that region, as opposed to you just ripped them? How many plays have you actually bought because you needed it for your
Well,
constructor
okay.
deck?
First of all, I think I said
Okay.
the last
Tex,
time, I
Tex,
don't play with the plays. I play war.
Tex,
Stop it.
how many plays have you? So I understand what you guys. First of all, I'm very bullish on Bo Jackson Battle Arena, the playability. I came away from SCG Con Baltimore, and I was excited. I was like, I told the block pack, the BoBA team, I was like, that's unbelievable. This is going to be real. Like, it is going to take off at SCG Con, and it's going to be incredible. So I agree with you. Playability is going to be great, but I will say this: if it was nothing more than a fad, BoBA would succeed. You could end the play today, and Bo Jackson Battle Arena would have the same demand. It would continue to grow. I think Frenchie does things creatively. I think it enhances it. It makes it more explosive and more enjoyable, but it would still survive without it. And the important thing to mention, by the way, is that this is for both the Wonders and poor Steel City Games. You wanted to know about the Bo Jackson boxes, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But
we haven't forgot about you.
The Wonders and the Bo Jackson battle, the beauty of it is, right, they just help each other up the ladder. Is that if Jeff French had gone to Star City Games and said, I want Bo Jackson Battle Arena be on the Star City Games contour, that they don't let anybody come in and just play those games. So I'm sure they couldn't get in without the Wonders. So you bring in the Bo Jackson battle, and all of a sudden people see, these $10,000 weekend tournaments at these cons, and they're playing BoBA. So it's giving life to it. But conversely, was Wonders a TCG that's never been heard from before? I mean, there's, whatever, there's they're dime a dozen. Is Target going to carry that? Probably not, unless you got Bo Jackson Battle in there. And then Frenchie can be like, you want to carry Bo Jackson Battle, who you all know? Well, you got to carry this other product, Wonders. So they're, to your point, Tex and Jen, you guys have said, like, this was year one of this. Now Wonders are going to be like, and that's the synergy that's amazing. These two helping each other out.
Yeah, the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was Steel City's exact question here? How do we get the limited edition Bo Jackson boxes? What boxes do you think he's actually talking about?
Well, it's in the title of the show. So thanks for checking that out. But let's go ahead and talk about an announcement for the Bo Jackson Battle Arena.
I don't do show prep, Slappy.
Let's go to the.
Why do we have to keep crossing this bridge? This.
This text you're not going to fall asleep on, because this was written by James at Block Packs and James at Bo Jackson Battle Arena, and he's known for his brevity. So yesterday, on November 11th, Tuesday, Veterans Day, is that James sent out this notification. Hey, everyone, just want to let everyone know that codes for the LA World Champ boxes have been sent. Check your email and text if you were selected. You should see your exclusive access code. Your code can only be used once. If you share it, you lose your access. The sale will close Friday, November 14th at 12 p.m. We're recording this live November 12th around noon Eastern. You have 2 days from this live recording, giving you lots of time to place your order. Congrats to those who were selected. And as always, let's Bo. So I think he was asking Tech Super is, how does he get the LA Champ boxes? So unfortunately at this point is that there was a pre-sale where half the allocation, again, there are 250 kanji boxes. There were 999 battle foil boxes for the LA World Champions. They made half available for a pre-sale. It sold out in 10 seconds. The other half was a second chance. Hey, you didn't get it? Go ahead and click here. Give us your email address and your phone number, and we'll text or email you and send you a code. Those codes were sent out yesterday. So Steel City, you want to check your text. You want to check your email spam to make sure you don't have it. Because again, you only have until Friday to purchase this. And aside from that, it will have to be on the secondary. Now, keep in mind, this product doesn't arrive for 14 weeks. So if you buy from somebody in the community, make sure you get vouchers for the person you're buying from. But I will say, Jen and Tex, you're probably best bet to buy in the secondary. I mean, people just bought it. There's a lot of hype. It's going to slow down in the next 14 weeks because people won't be thinking about it. Then when it shows up in 14 weeks, the price will bounce back up. But I kind of feel like the Bo Jackson Battle Arena community is growing so much that, do you think the lowest price to buy is now? Or do you think in 7 weeks, when you're halfway between when the sale was and when the product's delivered, is the best time to reach out and offer to buy somebody's?
I don't think it's now. I think now you're going to run into the thing where you get the people that didn't get it that really want it, and they're gonna pay a premium to make sure that they have it. So I'm of the thinking that probably in another couple weeks ish, um, once the hype settles down, once the crazy people that didn't get it, that really, really wanted it, and they're going to pay ridiculous amounts for it, get their box, then it'll kind of.
When Griffey comes out, a couple weeks into Griffey, when people are, when sealed stuff is kind of dried up, and people are still looking for product, or looking for money to buy product, that might be a good time to reach out to somebody and say, hey, are you willing to sell one of your boxes that you have coming up for the LA championship, and see if you can work a deal then. When people are looking to buy more Griffey product, you might be able to strike a little deal then. So yeah, but I would say not now. I wouldn't. If you're looking to maximize, unless you got money to blow and you're just like, whatever, I just have to have one.
You want
now's the time to do it. But I'd wait if you're looking to get a bit of a deal. But not financial advice. Ever. From me, at least.
This is a good show, because we actually have a lot of disagreements for the show. We might rib each other, but we don't generally disagree, and I couldn't disagree with you guys more. And I think you guys
need to banish you to the back again.
I know, really. It's bad enough you're in your Silence of the Lambs well.
You work with what you got. I live in an
have you put the lotion in the basket yet?
I live in an 1800s farmhouse, and it's super tiny, and I had to put my office in the basement. It's about 30 degrees outside, and it's 45 degrees here in my little Hannibal Electric.
When did they come unlock the door?
Yeah, really.
Actually,
they just throw his food down to him.
It's funny you say that, because I can't tell you how many times I pound on the ceiling, because when a kid comes down to get something, we keep dry goods down here. When somebody comes down to get it, they'll go
provisions. I believe they're called provisions.
I can hear the latch locking as it's shutting. And now I'm good. I'm like, unlock that door. But sometimes they don't hear me, and then when I go up to open the door, I gotta bang bang. All right. Anyway,
that it definitely is the dungeon, Steel City.
All right. So here's where I disagree with you about this: is that in the old days, and you have to understand where Tex Hooper and Gen Con and I come from. Jen talked earlier in the show about the common refrain you heard in our community. There, just the community that was before Wonders and Bojacks. We existed, and we're kind of the foundation for these two new communities. People would constantly say, we can't keep selling to the same 100 people. All we ever do is sell to each other. You're never you can't do that. We only have a couple people with big wallets, and it doesn't work. And so in the old days, where you'd be like, no, I'm going to wait a few weeks because right now there's FOMO on that. I agree that worked then. But looking at Bojacks and Battle Arena, people have continued to underestimate the strength of Bojacks and Battle Arena and Wonders. When we did the Creators of the First, we talked how many people are playing it. And the panelists who know the product better than anyone were estimating 2,500 to 5,000. There's over 20,000 people who are playing Wonders of the First. They were off by multiples. Bojacks and Battle Arena, when people said, and I was going through some of the YouTube comments on one of Radish videos, people are like, there's something fishy about, in the Facebook comments in the groups, there's something fishy why I couldn't get a kanji box or a battle foil. There's nothing fishy, is that a team member for Bojacks and Battle Arena said there's 100,000 people on their mailing list. There was 625 boxes for a mailing list of 100,000 people. There's nothing fishy, and it wasn't botted. That's just people going in to buy that. So I will say this, if you don't buy the LA World Champion box now, here's the only issue you have. You mentioned wait until Griffey when people are focused on the other product. That is, I don't disagree with that reasoning. The hard part is when we don't know what marketing muscle that they have. And for folks who don't know, Frenchie, this isn't his first rodeo. He made his money on marketing. He knows how to market. And as you could tell by how much you love / addicted to this product. So when Griffey comes out, how much is Frenchie going to be marketing the Griffey set? How many more people is that going to bring in? Will our mailing list go to 200,000 people from 100,000? So now all of a sudden, when you wanted to talk about LA World Champion boxes in 3 weeks, you're not dealing with 100,000 other people fighting for those limited LA Champion boxes. You're dealing with 200,000. And here's the other thing. The people who decided, I'm not sticking around for 14 weeks to hold on to it, those people are selling now. They're not selling it in 7. If you're going to sell, you're selling now. You're not being like, okay, well, I waited half week and I sat on this capital, this $385, but now after 7 weeks, okay, now I'll sell it. So if you're selling now. If you're holding, you're going to hold it till it arrives. So I would just argue there's a few people who don't have diamond hands. Those are the hands that you have to shake now. And there's people out there willing to shake them. We know Cursive, a few others, they're willing to buy those. So I'm not saying you guys are, I understand your logic, and you guys could be right, but I think there's a 50% chance it goes the other way. This thing explodes with Griffey, and your best chance is to get it now.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do think Griffey is going to absolutely explode this product.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what we're about to see happen, through the next 4 or 5 months is going to be insane with Griffey. And I think that's all the better for Wonders. I know Frenchie is a marketing genius and stuff, and you just touched on that a little bit. Do you think they should maybe in future releases maybe put say there was a little Wonders insert in every Griffey box, where, hey, you love Griffey, check out Wonders of the First, and maybe try and get some of that crossover. Like there's a lot of crossover, obviously, in our community because, our community is on the forefront of both these games and we're aware of both of them. But, people buying BoBA might, have no ideas what Wonders is, especially if they're buying from their local card shop. Do you think it would be a good idea I know they want to keep them separate and I think they should keep them separate, but as far as marketing goes, do you think it would be advantageous for there to be a little crossover marketing?
Jen?
I don't know. It's kind of like in my mind, they're to some degree two completely separate types of people that either collect or play both the games. So as far as your idea of like putting a special card or something in there, I don't think that would work. I think that would probably be a waste of resources. I could potentially see like maybe a marketing type insert or kind of something in there going, if you like BoBA or if you like Wonders, check out our other
check out our other product.
Our other products or our other games. That maybe
So by the way, I was just thinking, like, since you guys joke about the dungeon in this, I was thinking we can start joking that the prisoner in Wonders the First is actually here in the basement with me.
You're the prisoner.
Yeah.
You're the prisoner.
Oh my God.
It's all making sense now.
Yeah, it's all coming together.
I can see the resemblance.
So I will say, like, I was curious to hear what Jen was going to say because they're forgetting. Frenchie has stated unequivocally, no, there will be no Wonders BoBA crossover. I will never do that. So he kind of put it up there with with sticker autos. Is like he said he wasn't going to do it. Like I personally, I'm intrigued by it. I think you'd have to be creative, and I think you could do it wrong. But I don't like him ruling it completely out.
But is Frenchie referring to a crossover as in like the games crossing over each other? Like Jen and I are talking about just specifically from a marketing standpoint. Just saying, hey, you love this game, check out this other game, we make.
Yeah.
You might like that too. We're not talking about like, hey, here's a special one-of-a-kind BoBA insert in Wonders, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just purely hey, you love this game? Well, check out this game.
Well, and what's interesting is Frenchie, obviously, if you're going to be successful at marketing, it comes down to demographics, right? He has to understand the target audience he needs to reach, and he has to understand how to reach him. Nobody does it better than him. And in fact, one of the things was like, you talk about a cult. These are Real Biz. You guys all know him in the community. Real Biz, he's an OG. He came up with the shirts, and Jeff We Trust. And so what's fascinating about the Wonders, and I'd love to be in Jeff's office to see the data on how many boba people got into this Wonder sale. Like, as you know, here on the Radish Discord, we dropped a couple videos. We implored the boba people. We said, listen, you believe in Jeff French. This is his other product. Go ahead. And I want to say we didn't get on the hype train. We didn't say, like, get a case and you could flip all this and get your dragon. It's not what we said. We said, I specifically said, get one box. Like, just taste it. Like, rip it open. Take a look at this. If you're a player, check out the game. And if you're a collector, check these out. He's bringing sports card collectability to this. So I said one. And I think there were a lot of people. A lot of people reached out with the videos we were doing. We talked to them because they believe in Jeff French. So what's interesting is I wonder what percentage, to your point, Tex, right? Check this other thing. There are people who really believe in Frenchie. And so they would be willing to try it just on that reason.
Right.
And
it's funny because that goes into answering one of Pepper's questions for the collectors, that we made the point where I said we believed in Wonders from the beginning, and he said, what made you believe in that? And it's exactly what you're stating right now. It wasn't that people believed in Wonders, it was people believed in Jeff.
Right, exactly. I mean, I remember being at, I think it was in the National in New Jersey, I think, was when at the Geek Dinner was the first time like Wonders had gotten talked about, and we were shown some very...
No, it was Chicago 2023. Stop going back.
It was okay. Well, I can't remember. My timeline is
Chicago.
Confused. All right. Well, at the Geek Dinner in Chicago in 2023, that was when we first learned about Wonders was coming, and it was still it was still at least a year away when we first heard about it. And we were shown some very early concept art of a couple of the things. And, so it's kind of hard for us, it's not hard for us to answer the question, why we believed in it. But we've also, we come from being in the very beginning, early stages of this, and we're aware of it, before. I think it's a good question to ask somebody that, maybe just started collecting Wonders, in the last year, and why they continue to collect. We continue to collect because, exactly. We believed in Jeff. We believed in the project. And we've been able to follow along with it and be part of it from its inception.
Speaking of the losing track of time, Tex, I just looked in the Wonders Discord to see, because of course we all joined in the first couple of, they're like, hey, we started a new Discord, go join there. And for folks who don't know what Discord who are watching, it's a social media app. Don't be scared. It's actually it's very community oriented around chat. It's very supportive. So we'll put the link is already in there for the to join the Discord for Wonders of the First. But looking at when that was created, Tex, that was created in November 2023, so just a couple months after. So it's funny, it seems like that with Kish there it was years before, but I don't think it was actually that much. The other interesting thing, because Jen, that's a great point you make about we believed in Frenchie, like that's why we believed in Wonders, is the same goes for Boba. Like I love telling this story. Like all the people say, man, I wish I was there in the beginning so I could have bought it. And I remember saying at the time, I tell people, I'm like, listen, Jeff came to us and he's like, hey, I created this game when I was 12 years old. It's really cool. And you know what? You're going to love it.
I think. Was he 10? Was he 10?
I thought it was 12, maybe 10. All right. He was under the age.
What's the difference at 11?
He was 10, 11, or 12. But I remember at the time is that, I mean, Tex went heavier than I did. I remember I was like $3,000 in. And I remember Frenchie coming back and being like, guys, this is going to be really cool. There's like autos. There's like 30 people who've autographed. You're going to like them. Like, and the funny thing is, it was going to go whether we did it or not. But that's also Frenchie. Frenchie was imploring us because he felt like people were fading it and he knew people were going to left behind. Frenchie believed in himself and he knew he had magic, and it wasn't stopping his launch. He wanted us to be part of it. But I will say there were some people who didn't go heavy. There's some people who didn't fade it at all. But you have to remember, like with Bo Jackson Battle Arena, it was an idea. I don't remember how long we had to wait for product, but it was months and months away. You were basically shoveling money at him and being like, well, I hope it turns into a real product because I can't see anything right now. So again, like for Peppers is like, why would we do that? Is that because it was about the same time, actually. Like I remember there's a crossover period because some people have said, oh, I didn't have enough money for this because I went heavy on this one. for those of us is that not financial advice, but generally speaking, when Frenchie has an opportunity, we take advantage of it.
Yep. And
Yeah,
I
it's
guarantee have FOMO in a couple months, but
yeah, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
it had to be made. Sacrifices had to be given.
Jen has a real Sophie's choice on her hands.
Can you not go? So I will say when it comes to the codes, is that I estimate if there are 100,000 people on the mailing list, like how many people realistically sign up, and give their email and phone number, even though they're on the list and it's already there. Like you still feel like I don't want to keep giving it. So I'd say out of the 100,000 people, I'm not basing this on any data, but I would say 15,000. I can't imagine you'd have greater than a 15% number, but I think there's enough excitement. Like, hey, it's free box, 15% response.
Well,
so
if there were what were there 999?
625 available, half the allocation for the second wave.
Okay, but how many of those were kanji and how many were? There were
total of 250 kanji, 125 for the pre-sale,
right, and then half each of those,
and then 999 for the battle foil, half available for the pre-sale, half available now. So 625 total just went out in code.
Okay, so out of 100,000, so they had 100,000 people on their mailing address. Only 625 of those people are going to get a hit.
No, but see, that's what
are going to get a code.
That's what my point was. Realistically, right? You're not going to get 100. I mean, if they're doing that, then he is a bigger market. He's not a marketing genius. He's a marketing god. But I would say it's 15,000. And if it's 15,625, then your odds, if you were one of the lucky ones to hit it, you were 1 in 25. That's where I'd say it's right around 15,000. So you're probably 1 in 25. One thing we should know, we haven't gotten clarification from the team, but we keep saying there was 125 of the kanji available for the pre-sale, 500 available. And by the way, if it's $999, one's 500, one's 499. But we don't know what they're keeping back for promotions or anything. So these numbers, I don't think they're dramatically different. But we shouldn't say it's exactly.
Yeah, we're speaking in general terms.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you're one of the people who ended up with a kanji or a battle foil, congratulations, because you're one of 20. Your odds were probably 1 in 25 of hitting that. So congratulations. But I think for BoJax and Battle Arena, I really appreciate all the audience that was here today. The great questions from Peppers and from Hobby, who was being in here. Also Sunny for giving us some clarification. Matthew for joining us in here. I don't mean to cut it off, Jen and Tex, but we've hit an hour. And so I'm not sure if there's anything else with Wonders that and of course the next big event for Wonders is the Shattering for the Call of Stones, which will hopefully be in February in Columbia, South Carolina. And the important thing to remember is you need to go to this event. Don't sit on the fence. It will be better. Like I'm going to the Vegas event where both the Wonders and the BoBA products will be presented, and of course it's the Wonders World Championship, and it's the BoBA kind of regional tournament. But having gone to an SCG Con event, I mean, they don't rank compared to the Shattering. Like if you've been to an SCG Con, you got to go to the Shattering because it is so much better. It is so fun. Everything about the event is fun from start to finish. The community is great. And it's fun when they bring in the product on Saturday night and we all get to rip it. Like that's the other thing is you get your product ripped there before it gets shipped to the other people. So that's the bonus for traveling all the way to South Carolina. That's how it was last year, but we'll assume it's going to be that way again.
I hope so. The Shattering was an absolute blast and I can't wait to do it again. I wish I was going to be in Vegas, but I won't be. I'll be in New York City for my anniversary. So I tried to talk her into Vegas, but it wasn't happening.
Oh, that's great. I like how you threw it in there. You should have left it silent. That you're only going to get in trouble the more you talk. Oh, Texan, you as a collector, it just triggered something in my mind. So we had 2 hours of recorded time with Brian Tinsman in last night's Creators of the First. I was so wired. Last night we got done taping around 1 a.m. East Coast time. And then the Creators of the First, such a great panel. Like B Hero Gaming goes to bed the earliest, and he's actually, I think, the latest time zone. But all us East Coasties stay up late. Like we were up for like another hour. So like by the time I got done going off, it was like 2 a.m. I'm always wired when I come off content. And then I caught up on the community chat all the events we just talked about. And so that filled another 2 hours. I did not go to bed until 4 o'clock, but I want to share some. The Brian Tinsman stuff is amazing, and we're going to split the content. It's going to be available at Wonders Workshop, Be Your Hero Gaming, American Texan Plays, and Quarantine Capricorn. But there's this one snippet that Brian does. First of all, I asked him about Bo Battle Arena, and I asked him if he was involved in game design for Bo Battle Arena, because of course he works for Wonders of the First, which is a different company than. Do you guys know the answer to that question? If he was involved in Bo Battle Arena in game design?
Oh, I don't know the answer. No, I'm willing to make a guess, but I don't know the answer.
I have a little snippet I did with him about that. But the part I want to tell you that's great, and you'll hear his words. So Brian, I talked to him and it's such great questions from the panel, from Grace, Ben, American Texan. Nobody ever knows his real name. He just goes by AT. And then Capricorn, Richie. We know everybody's name, but American Texan Plays. But there were a lot of great questions. But when we talked to Brian as a collector, is that he talked about approaching collecting. He's like, collecting is nothing more than playability. You're trying to determine, do I sell this piece now, or is it going to be worth more in a couple months? Do I trade it for this one, and then that one's going to increase in value? But he literally broke it down like you're sitting across a Wonders mat from your opponent, talking about, do I use this card now? Do I save this card for the next battle? And it was amazing the way he didn't say that like, oh, let me use this analogy. Like, in Brian Tinsman's genius mind, he truly sees collecting as playing. And it just, like, you should hear this, like, for every player out there, it's like, this is the snippet, like, just boom, like, for players who think collecting is a dirty word. Brian says it amazing.
Well, so did he help with the gameplay of Bo, or do we have to we have to tune in and watch?
Yeah, I'll be dropping that. I'll drop that in a Radish minute.
He's not telling you.
Yeah. Stay tuned in the Radish channel.
Boy, oh boy, what a tease!
Make sure you're subscribed. All right, I'll turn it over to
you guys. Have any? That's it. Final thoughts. Done. You're both.
I'm done.
Out? All right. So that's gonna do it for today's Radish Break Room. No guests, no script, just me, Tex, and Slappy doing what we do best: talking too much, laughing too hard, and probably saying a few things we'll pretend we never did. Big thanks to everyone who hung out with us in chat. You're part of the chaos now, so no takebacks. We'll be back soon with more laughs, more gossip, and maybe even a little bit of substance if we actually get serious. That has been Radish Break Room, brought to you by Radish Digital with a J. Because why, Tex?
It's too easy to spell it the other way.
Yeah!